Hello, my friends, and welcome to today's training. Have you experienced this? This is happening to me, and it's in part because of the growth that we are experiencing. When I am feeling really pressed for time and I have a lot of to dos on my list, responsibilities, deliverables, things to check, things to deliver to my clients, like proposals for new projects. And I have to take care of my clients, and I am preparing for graduations, and I'm taking care of my son and attending his basketball games and taking care of my house, the dog, all of it. I tend to feel like my head is about to explode. Can you relate to this? And if you can, today's training is going to be my own therapy as I reflect on my behaviors as a result of feeling this way and what I'm doing to manage that so that one, I don't feel horrible about how I'm behaving and treating others, and two, so that I can calm myself down and ground myself so I can continue to deliver, so I can continue to be present and make this journey of working, being a mom, being an entrepreneur, being a coach, and a partner to my clients as enjoyable as I possibly can. So bear with me as we do this training because this is as much for me as it is for you. And so, what happens when you get to this feeling and you start to notice how you're missing things on your calendar? You are dropping the ball when it comes to following up with certain people. Clients may be reaching out and you feel stretched thin and you want to support them and you have things on your calendar that you must attend to. I notice that when I feel this way, I am trying to get as many things done as I possibly can. And in the process, I am missing things. I am rushing through emails. I am rushing through my calendar, even to the point where I may miss an important meeting unintentionally. And so then what happens after that is you go into a little bit of a, what am I doing? I need to slow down. So today, my number one strategy that I can share with you about what I do when I get to this place of a boiling point is to notice, number one. And number two is to slow down. So I decided today that I am going to go back to my twice a day meditation practice. And that may seem counterintuitive because I am so busy that how am I going to make the time to meditate twice a day for 20 minutes? My dear friend Anne Marie Duchenne says, if you can't meditate for 20 minutes, then you need to meditate for an hour. And that means that if I cannot carve out 20 miser minutes of my entire day for moi, for myself, in the morning and at the end of the day, then I am in big trouble. And the reason why it's so meaningful for me to do this is that when I do, even when I have a full calendar like I do right now, I'm in about 45 minutes, I'm going to be hosting and facilitating a graduation for one of my partner's cohorts who's graduating. If I can't do that for myself, then I won't show up with the level of patience and energy and caring that I want to show up every day in my work, in my daily activities, for my projects, for my partners. And so, number one is, what do you notice happens when you're feeling like your head is ready to explode? What are the usual tendencies that you experience in your behavior? Another one that happens to me is that I tend to become very short with people. And I'm going to be 100% transparent. I can become short with my team. So I don't snap in a nasty way, but I'm giving very short answers. And I am more in a reactive mode than I am in a responsive mode. And this is what it looks like. I get an email from one of my teammates, and she's asking for information. And rather than taking the time to supply the information, my immediate response is, I already sent that, which doesn't solve the problem. And then I go look for the link, look for the information, and then I send another email saying, here's the link, versus doing that from the beginning. And also, what happens to me is, because I'm doing so many different things, I lose track of which ones I did with whom. And then when a team member comes over to ask me for information, I'm thinking that I already gave it to them when I perhaps did not. All because my brain is saturated. So this is no excuse. I'm simply noticing how I'm showing up. So what about you? What happens when you're in this state of crunchiness and the plate is just overflowing with activities? How do you engage with your teammates? Who gets the brunt of it? Sometimes the person who gets the brunt of this is our partners at home, where we are just drained from our day. Maybe we can muster the energy to be there for our kids. And when we feel really safe, we tend to just let it go. So our partners may be the one getting the brunt of this. Let's just notice what happens. And then together, let's come up with a plan. So as I mentioned, my plan number one is to reconcile and reintegrate my mindfulness practice, which for me, it's meditation. I also notice that I am making excuses. I'm going to be 100% transparent with you and with myself. I'm making excuses about why I'm skipping my workouts, more so now that I'm so busy than before. And it's usually the similar responses. I have to get back to somebody, I have to deliver something, I have to cook. There's always something that gets in the way. This morning, I woke up, I had my clothes laid out for my walk, my 30-minute walk. It's too cold in the East Coast, so I'm walking in my treadmill downstairs, which I'm sure you've seen me sometimes record some videos that are very loud, and I'm sure you don't appreciate, from my treadmill. And I got downstairs and I walked for 30 minutes, and my dog started to bark. And as he was barking, I'm thinking to myself, oh no, I have to stop my workout 10 minutes earlier than usual to go see what's going on with the dog. So I paused my watch. I came upstairs. I checked on him. He was fine. I went back downstairs. Got back on the treadmill and walked for another 10 minutes. Let me tell you something. If I'm being honest with myself and with you, I almost quit my workout. I almost said, you know what? Just don't bother. Just turn off the machine, turn off the lights, just go shower and get ready. Give it up. And a little voice inside of me said, nope, nope, finish your 30-minute walk. And I'm so grateful that I did, because when I get into this mindset that there's something else waiting for me, when I'm on the treadmill and I'm listening to something or watching training that I'm now doing for the next 2 years, there's a little voice that says, you have something else to do. Like, even the walking doesn't seem pleasant. And so I am noticing that all of this is happening. And it's, in one simple word, it's resistance. I am developing this resistance to doing what I know makes me feel better and clears my head and allows me to serve you at a higher level. So I am sure I am not alone when I share what I'm sharing with you vulnerably. What is happening on your end? What resistance do you have toward the things that you know will improve your life? Towards the things that you have read and listened to that you haven't implemented yet? And I'm right there with you, sister. I'm right there with you. You're not the only one experiencing this crunchiness and these resistances that we get from all different angles. So, as your journey partner, what have you been putting to the side that you need to embrace? And like me, I'm going to embrace my meditation and mindfulness. I'm going to embrace getting on that treadmill, even when I don't feel like it. And I'm going to embrace giving myself some grace because I know I'm not perfect and neither are you. And so, as imperfect beings, it's okay. Let's give ourselves forgiveness for whatever way we have been feeling lately. Let's notice how we've been behaving and say, okay, that happens. I'm moving forward. I am going to do the best I can going forward. And that means that sometimes I'm going to get crunchy and I'm going to let the people around me know that I am having a tough day so they can give me a little grace too. One of the things I do when I do behave in a way that I'm not too proud of or in a very short way is I do appreciate it when I acknowledge it and when I express to my teammates, my apologies, I'm a little short and it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with all the things I have on my plate. And I've noticed that I behave in a certain way. And when I do that, we clear the air. Everybody knows that, oh, she's self aware that she's doing that. And let me give her some grace and forgiveness. And I give myself grace and forgiveness, and we move forward. It's important to acknowledge that because otherwise people around us think, my goodness, what's with her? And it's not something that I am proud of, and it's not something that I take lightly. And so I'm sure there's some of this that you can relate to. And if that is you, leave me a comment and let me know how this lands for you. This is work in progress, as I always say, WIP. Even though I've been doing this personal development work for over, my gosh, 20 years, over 20 years, everything's still work in progress. We're always evolving because we're always in a new level. And new level, new devil, as my mentor Fabiano always says. And here we are at this scale magnitude level. And these are some of the challenges that you're going to run into. So give yourself grace, give yourself forgiveness. Same thing for your team. Everything that I just described about myself and potentially about you also can happen to your team members. So let's give them grace. Let's open the door. Let's create a safe space for them to express what's going on and keep the lines of communications open. That's the biggest piece of training that I can give you today. It's a reminder to keep the lines of communications open and to be self-aware of how you're behaving, how you're showing up, and then start to put something in place that will help you ground you and help you show up in a way that you feel more proud of yourself. With that, live with purpose, live with joy. You can always find me at callwithjenny.com. I'll see you soon.